just imagine going to a war zone or covering a disaster or going to New York after 9/11 and you seeing tragedy after tragedy. And then when you're on the air, you cannot express that. I've said many times that I was not hired to cry on the air, and I was not hired to complain personally on the air. I was hired simply to report. And to do that, you have to say, this is happening, my job is to report, and I gotta do it now. And you think you can go home and nothing's gonna happen, but it isn't true. At some point, you know that everything that you covered is inside you. For instance, after 9/11, there were no flights, of course. I covered the first moments of 9/11 here in Miami, and then we rented a car and drove all the way to New York City. By the time I got to where the Twin Towers were, there was almost no protection yet, and you could access the area very easily. I still remember the smell and the dust and the sense of chaos that was surrounding 9/11. And of course I was breathing everything. I was getting ready for a report, and I went with the cameraman going through all the destruction surrounding the Twin Towers. And when I went back to the hotel, I realized that all my clothing had a specific smell. And the smell was of destruction, and the smell was of death, and the smell was of chaos. And then I got rid of my clothing, and then I realized that it was not only that. I had been breathing for hours and hours, death and destruction and dust, and it was already inside of me. Beyond the physical experience, it was a very emotional experience to understand that inside me, inside me were parts of that moment, of that building, of the people who died. And it was very difficult to recognize and acknowledge that was happening. That's when I realized that as a reporter, you can never put a distance between you and the story. And I think after 9/11, I became much more open and personal and emotional on the air, tried to explain to the viewers what I was going through. And I think my professional style changed a lot because of that experience.